I'm Denise Flores, one of the career counselors from the Career Center here at CSUSB. And today we're hosting the workshop, the Summer 2020 Launch Your Career Series 2.0, Navigating Uncertain Times in the Job Search Process. We have our special guest, Douglas Gonzalez. He is a CSUSB alum, and and he'll share a little bit about himself, so I won't go dive into too much of that. But he's going to be talking about the job search process and how you can all navigate, that process during this time right now that we are having. So I'm going to give it over to Douglas to get started. And if you have any questions throughout the presentation, go ahead and send them in the chat, and we will have Douglas answer those questions. Okay, go ahead, Doug.
Great, thank you, Denise. Really appreciate this opportunity and give back to the community where my roots are from to some extent. Just to give you a little bit of flavor where I'm coming from, I'm first generation college graduate, immigrant from Nicaragua. And my parents and the entire family lived in LA for a while. Then we moved out to San Bernardino. And in San Bernardino, that's where I went to Cal State. I graduated in 1990. And got my job in Cal State. I was involved with all different kinds of activities, clubs, fraternity, organization, student body, ASI, ambassador for the university. So I did a lot of what you could refer to as, college experience. And I did that for a while, graduated. I wasn't quite sure exactly what I wanted to do after graduating because the graduation date was slowly approaching. I'm sure some of you may know that the school sends you out reminders, you're graduating next year. So that's when you start thinking, what am I going to do next? I started working in Long Beach, and my very first job in Long Beach, I got fired right after school. And I didn't know what else to do, so I did some soul searching, and I wanted to always be in the capital financial of the world, and I moved out to New York in 1991. And I've been here ever since. I haven't looked back, and I'm very grateful for everything that I worked so hard and opportunities that have been given to me. I'm extremely grateful. Very blessed and grateful. So, what we're going to talk about in essence is how can I get a job? That's what it boils down to. After I graduate, where can I work? How can I work, especially in today's environment? Where am I going to go? So, best advice I could always give the students is you have to always be able to be open to try something new, something different, things that you may want to be involved with as far as volunteering or community events, something that you may think of it as a side job that may actually translate into a permanent job. So those are the things that I always encourage individuals. Do some soul searching. Always try for things that you may think, well, I think I'm good at this, but I'm not sure if I should pursue it or if I'm good enough, as well as being able to just give it a chance, give it a shot, just give it a crack. So that's the advice that I always give the students. When I first got to the East Coast, I was very fortunate that I had a contact that was able to hook me up with an interview here on the East Coast. And just those contacts that you may never think that they will materialize, always pursue it, and as the thinking goes that you got to knock on 100 doors to get a yes. That's what actually turns out to be at times. You have to get a lot of no's. You have to be persistent. You have to be just continuously never giving up. You can't give up, because if you do, then what's the point of having gone through school, putting all the hard effort for you not to give it a chance? Just getting into school alone and passing the classes is, is tough. So that's one thing I would recommend to the students. Let me see, what else can I talk about? Let me take a look at my notes. Career life, completing after you complete your degree. Believe it or not, just the mere fact of having that piece of paper opens up doors, or it will allow you to knock on a door. Just having that college degree. And yes, it matters where it's coming from, or the school, your ranking, and so forth. It does. And it would be wrong for me to tell you that it doesn't. But at the end of the day, is not only do you know the stuff, but can you do the work? Can you do the work, and can you do it competently? Because at the end of the day, business is there to make money, so it can spend money. And business will pay for qualified individuals. If they think that they can get away with paying you $1 rather than $5, they'll do it. So you got to show them that you're valuable in terms of your knowledge base. What can you do for me as a business owner? Can you save me time? Can you save me money and make money? And I'm talking from a business perspective. The same thing may apply to some of the other areas, for instance, that you may be concentrating in. If you're a biologist, for instance, biology major, they want to know, can you do the job competently? Can you, are you able to decipher a formula and get paid for it? If you're in a pharmaceutical, can you go to pharmaceutical and sell some of the high-end drugs to individuals and or companies or governments? So it boils down to, do you know your stuff, and what can you do about as far as making the company money, saving the company money, and saving some time? We all have bosses, and your number one job as an employee is to make your boss look good. Even if the boss may be the most horrible person in the whole world, your job is to make the boss look good. And it's a reality. Your job is to make your boss look good in many endeavors. And let's see, other areas that I should concentrate. What to do after you complete your degree? Very easy. You got to start way before you complete the degree. You got to know or have some type of idea of what you want to do with that degree. Where do you want to go? Do you want to stay in the Inland Empire? Do you want to move out of state? Do you want to move out of the country? What do you want to do? You have to know that as an individual once you complete your degree. But you have to know about it before you graduate. There's no sense of you graduating and then all of a sudden you finding out, oh, what am I going to do? You got to start thinking about that at least 2 years, if not 3 years, before you get that piece of paper. So if you set your mind, set down your goals and revisit them every so often, write them down, put them somewhere that you see them on at least minimum weekly basis, and shoot for them. Believe me, you are going to encounter a lot of obstacles, a lot of no's, a lot of maybes. No, we're not hiring now. But if you don't apply, then how would they know you exist? The one thing that I always say is, you can imagine yourself, and this is, I'm sure it's going to sound sexist, but imagine yourself You want to get the attention of a mate from across where you are. You're in a room, but the room is dark, and you can hear each other's voices. But if you're winking at that person, how will they know that you're there or that you're winking at them? You know. So you got to speak up. You got to talk. You got to be able to get a lot of no's. And believe it or not, it's just a matter of getting a lot of no's. And once you get that yes, you got to work your tail off and really excel. Okay. Forget about, you may have the book knowledge, but if you don't have the smart knowledge of being able to step back and think more than just the book's process, you have to have common sense. You have to have common sense with all jobs that you may want to accomplish or may want to have. Now, with the current climate, with the pandemic, the unemployment spike, job market options, and so forth, I get it. It's tough. Some of us are fortunate that are able to work remotely. Some of us may not be so fortunate, and that's where you as an individual have to think about more than just a traditional way of doing things. For instance, look at this company, Zoom, and Zoom meeting. Zoom has been around for a while, but all of a sudden it took off because guess what? Nobody was able to, right now, nobody's able to go to their office and have a face-to-face interaction with people. So what do? Zoom meetings or conferences. So you have to think of options or opportunities and challenges that may come into play, and that you have to take advantage of it. Own it, in essence. Own the process, and be successful. But the one thing I can always say is three primary things is you got to knock on a lot of doors. You're going to get a lot of no's. But you have to be determined, and you have to just be persistent with anything, really. Anything in life, you got to be persistent, and that determines those individuals that success is based upon what you determine success. Okay. Some people's success may be traveling the whole world, on foot. They want to visit other countries. Go backpacking, spend $3 a day through Europe or $5 a day through Europe backpacking. And they want to, if it makes them happy, they're successful. Some other people, success means graduating, having a family. So it depends on what you yourself determines success. Yours is different than mine and the next person. But at the end of the day, the one thing that has commonality is you got to be determined. You have to persevere. And believe me, you will get for sure a lot of no's. No matter what, you will get a lot of no's. But all you need is just one of those breaks of a yes, and then pursue it. Stay positive and pursue your passion. You got to be passionate about what you do, even if it's volunteering, because some volunteer jobs may turn into careers. So that's in essence. I think I covered all the points. Navigate uncertain times in career and life. What to do about after completing your degree. The next step in considering current climate. The pandemic, unemployment spike, job market options. Job market options right now, there's a lot of video conferencing. If you're good with computers, good for you. Maximize it. Monetize it. Think about it. How can I make $1 of what I'm doing? How can I monetize what I enjoy doing? All right. So that's my take. And believe me, it's moving to the East Coast in 91. It wasn't easy, but I always wanted to be on the East Coast. I always wanted to live and work in New York. I have always wanted it. Watching a movie, you know. I always wanted to live in New York. I always wanted to be in New York City. And I pursued it. It wasn't easy, but you know what? Life overall is not easy. So,
Can I ask you a few questions? Oops.
Sure, absolutely.
I'll ask you a few questions. One of the questions I wrote down are, what are some companies you have worked for, and what do you currently do for work? What's your career field?
Right now, my career field, okay, I am a consulting. I work for a Wall Street firm as a consultant doing advisory and, in essence, regulatory, dealing with regulators and regulatory. That's my job. I worked for, my degree was in finance and language when I graduated. I always wanted to be in finance, always wanted to be in finance, you know. I love money. There's nothing wrong with loving money. And I always wanted to make money and work to make money. So that was my degree in finance. I worked for some of the big Wall Street companies. I worked for Morgan Stanley. I worked for a couple of other small houses. I worked for Dean Witter. I also worked for, in California, I worked for Sears over at the mall, the Inland Center Mall. I understand that it's closed now, but I used to work at that Sears. And through my Sears contact, that's how I was able to get a job interview with Dean Witter Trust Company here in New York. And I worked for small companies, everything dealing with finance, okay? Strictly finance. And it's been a good life. You know, it's been a good life. It's not over yet. There's still a lot of things that I need to accomplish. But what I said earlier is set your goals. You got to accomplish your goals. Set them up. Set your goals so you're able to review your goals. Even if it's on a weekly basis, you look at it, you know, you write them down and you say, yeah, I want to be here or I want to accomplish X. Just the mere fact of going to school and graduating, that's a goal. Graduate, you know. It's tough. There are a lot of individuals and or forces that want you not to succeed or cut your ties, you know, and not graduate. Don't do it. Just pursue. Graduate and get that piece of paper. Believe me, that piece of paper means a lot. It allows you to come in and just knock on the door, okay?
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
And this could be an opinion of yours, right? What are
Sure.
three top skills that you think are important for college students to have when entering the workforce after college?
3 top skills to after college. You got to be able to get along with people. That's 1. 2, you got to be meticulous about learning as much as you can about the business and about the division that you work in, the company and or the industry. You got to be meticulous. So getting along, knowing your job really well. Okay, you have to know your job. Become an expert. Be an expert at your job. Be the person that they will individuals will come, and naturally they will start to ask questions. They will come to you because you know that you may be not the gatekeeper, but the person that knows the stuff. Be the person that knows the stuff. So when something may come up, you'll be the one that they will call up and say, "Hey, listen, there's this is going on. We want to get your opinion on. What do you think?" So become an expert, know your stuff, and get along with people. And believe me, you're not going to get along with every single person at work. That's not it. And I'm saying that you're not going to be their best friend and you're going to have them for on the weekend to your place. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is get along with them on a professional level. Courtesy, professionalism, always.
And another question: How important is it to gain experience outside of the classroom while in college, and what type of experience should students take advantage of to make sure that when they do go out into the workforce, that they might have a stronger chance of getting a job?
Well, that boils down to, for instance, let's say someone wants to be a veterinarian, okay? Let's say someone wants to be a vet. Great profession, you love animals, perfect. How you get experience? Go to the local shelter. Volunteer at the local shelter. Help out at the local shelter. Even, believe it or not, even if it's for 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week, or even on a Saturday afternoon, volunteer in an area or a division or a group or business that may be of interest. You never know. As I said earlier, some careers develop out of volunteering. So if you want to be a veterinarian, go to the local shelter. It doesn't have to be, the city. You could go into the vet. Most people have animals, so I'm just assuming. When you take your cat or dog to the vet, ask the doctor, hey, listen, I'm thinking of being a veterinarian and I want to volunteer. Where do you suggest? Do you have any options here? Start the conversation, but start it early. Don't wait until you are about to graduate and then all of a sudden not know what you're going to do and you start scrambling. You got to do it way before that. This is a marathon, okay? This is a marathon. Career is a marathon. You're going to go through a lot of up and hills, downhills. It's a long, arduous process, but the finish is the sweetest once you have that beautiful job that you always dream about, okay? And once you accomplish that goal, set some more. That's what life's about.
What was one of your greatest successes through your career thus far?
My greatest success, and at the same time, my greatest challenge was that I graduated in March in '90, okay, and I was working part-time for Sears, and I got the opportunity to work in Long Beach, and from San Bernardino all the way to Long Beach, we're talking about an hour and 25 minutes, an hour and a half drive every day. And I was miserable. I was super miserable. I worked for a chemical company as a customer service rep. And the best thing in life was that I got fired from that job. I thank my lucky stars for getting fired because it put more fire into my belly to say to myself, what exactly do I want to do with my life? Okay? It's always, the best thing is, for me was that I was single. I had no wife, children, significant other. I was just me. And I had no, it may sound bad, no one holding me back, but it was just me. And it gave me the chance to say, what do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish? Where do I want to see myself next year? And sure enough, I always wanted to be in New York. I said to myself, you know what? I got to give it a shot. I have to give it. The worst thing is, and I'm sure people have heard this, is the worst thing to say to yourself is, oh, I should have. So I didn't want to do that later on in my life. I wanted to say to myself, I tried. Oh, well, I wasn't successful, but you know what? I gave it a shot. But that's better than, oh, I should have done that. So that's That's my take.
Thank you for answering my questions. I did put a message in the chat to see if anyone else had any other questions. So I'm kind of waiting a little bit. But if no one has any other questions, and if you don't have any other information to share, then I may just dive into showing some of the students over on your some resources that we have on our website related to this
Okay.
topic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I'm just going to show a couple things. In the meantime, if you guys have questions, please send them in the chat, and I'm just going to show you a couple of these things so you make sure you know that what we have. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to dive into my page here. But that's I think, very helpful information. It's always good to hear about different journeys that people have taken to get to where they're at. And I like how you brought up how you had New York in your mind. That was where you wanted to
Right.
be. And the fact that you
Right.
put that out there, just by you planning that, at least in my mind, the way I see things, by you planning that, you're not going to, sometimes you don't know how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen, but if you want it that bad, it could
No.
potentially happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, I always wanted to be in New York. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to be in New York. And when I left California, believe it or not, I had one-way airfare ticket to New York City and $100 to my name. That was it. I was fortunate that I had relatives that lived here in New York, and I was able to stay in their place. You know, I stayed in. They opened up their doors to me to come and literally crash in their apartment. Okay, I did not have my own bedroom or anything. You know, not at all. I slept on the floor. When I got to New York, I had a blanket, $100, and I slept on the floor, the living room of where my cousins lived. And I did that for about a year or so. Then I got an apartment with a buddy of mine from work, and then progressed and got my own place. And now life is good. Can't complain, you know. But you have to, as an individual, you have to set your goals. If you don't, then where the hell are you going? You know. Next time you know, it's a joke that I've heard many times. Is imagine being getting on a plane, and the pilot comes on board and says, "Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to take off. We're not sure where we're going. We'll get there when we get there." How's that going to look? You know, we'll get there when we get there. Where the hell am I going? Where are we going? You know, it's just the same way. So you have to know or have an idea of where you want to be. You know, if you want to be a surgeon, a foot doctor, for instance, there are many various fields of podiatry. You could be a surgeon, or you could be a masseuse that concentrates only on feet, or you could be a doctor that specializes only on, you know, bunions or anything that is quirky with the feet. But there are various avenues. But if you say, I want to be I want to work with feet, great. There are many ways that you could pursue that career. You know, so don't think that you have to know exactly what you want to accomplish. But you have to have a goal. That's most critical. You have to have an idea of what you want to do. Because if you don't know, then who does? You know?
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. And I just want to show these resources real quick here. So this is our Career Center page. For those of you who have never been to our Career Center page, it's www.csusb.edu/career-center. And Valentina, if you want to put that in the chat for us, that would be really helpful. And when you go to this page, you'll see a Students and Alumni tab, and that will take you to where you can see our workshops, you can see where you can make an appointment, you can see our drop-in services link. There's a whole section dedicated to internships. And then we have our career resources page over here. And from the career resources page, you can check out all of these various resources to help you through your time as a student and also when you graduate. One of the things I wanted to touch on was the job internship and volunteer search page. This page is very helpful to take you through some of those steps that you may not know about when it comes to searching for a job. Maybe you just started college or you're halfway through and you're not sure what this looks like. This can help you get an idea of what it looks like. And then at the bottom here, we have a lot of different links that take you to various pages that offer insight into the job market, right? So whatever's out there, internships, jobs, volunteering positions will be located on a lot of these different websites. And we have more down here. So there's a ton of places to look for positions, and not all positions are posted on all sites. So something that you're going to want to explore on your own and take inventory of. And the Career Center is here to help you through that process if you need guidance. And then I have another page that I want to show you real quickly. Because we're in this crisis right now, there's a lot of challenges happening in addition to our everyday challenges, and that's this COVID situation, right? So we do have additional resources here for everyone we created this page specifically for this time. This can be utilized to look at different openings and different things that are related to the COVID situation, and also there might be some additional opportunities available through various websites such as CoVIntern is an example of a page that we added on. I believe that this individual created this because of this pandemic, and so there are internships available out there. And you'll see this word remote when you all are searching for a job. And right now there's a lot of virtual positions, more so than there have been in the past. This may be something that we see a lot of in the future because of this pandemic. And so that's a word that you might want to look for when you're searching right now. Remote, meaning you're going to be working from home, quote unquote, which could be where you currently live, or it might be another city or state if you happen to move, but you're going to be working remotely, and you'd be able to work from wherever you're at. And so this is one of the great websites that we just posted up not too long ago, along with the rest of these resources here for you all. So I just wanted to make sure that I showed everyone those so you all can get that support that you need. And not only for the typical job and internship search that you may be doing, but now you have this additional layer of challenge. And so I just want to make sure I showed you all that information. So I didn't see any other questions come through. I did see that you, Valentina and Hilda, thank you for sharing the website. Does anybody have any other questions for Douglas or for the Career Center staff? It looks like there's nothing coming through, but that's okay. Douglas, I thought you provided us some very good insights into your journey and some things that the students, some takeaways. And I think one of the big takeaways, at least for me, was, to do that planning, have that goal and have that plan that goes along with it. Because we have that goal or we have that dream, but we don't do anything. There's no action being taken. Then what's going to come of it, right? So I think that was my big takeaway.
You have to have a play plan, You have to have an action plan. And if you just have an action plan and pursue it, that's it. Utilize all the contacts you may have. Get involved with the school, extracurricular activity with the school and clubs, organization, whatnot. Get involved, and that will pay off.
Are there any other questions from the audience here? Oh, someone asked, and I don't know if we're able to answer this or not, but how can I get the Zoom job? Someone asking, Nazli, are you asking where can you get a Zoom job? Or?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think Valentina, I think you posted something about that earlier.
Yes. So Douglas had mentioned of the growing fields due to the pandemic. And Zoom, for example, had a huge growth in new positions. So that's why I posted that. I read that in a recent article that was on Forbes.com. But if you go to the Zoom company's homepage and look at careers, you can see all of their position listings. And if you need assistance in applying for anything, please make an appointment with Denise, myself, or our other career counselor, Oscar Fonseca. So if you want that HR site for Zoom, I would just Google Zoom human resources, and you will get the link to their home site.
And I think you brought up a great point, Valentina, that when doing a job search, that's one of the things you may come across on company websites, organization websites. You'll find something that says jobs or careers, employment opportunities, get involved. You'll see different labels used for that employment process and job search on various organization and company websites. So for that particular student who asked that question, if you want more guidance on that, I have the how to make an appointment up here for you, so you can feel free to do that. If you're an alumni, you can also meet with us. We are doing virtual appointments, and we are doing virtual drop-ins as well. And then if Valentina or Hilda, if you could put our phone number in the chat. If anyone needs help with making an appointment, you can call our office number at 909-537-5250, and you can also receive assistance. Well, Douglas, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us all the way from New York. And I think that I just want to say we wish you well, and hopefully we can have you join us again in the future.
Great. Thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Just a few parting words is stay courageous, knock on doors, never give up, and make sure you get that piece of paper because it makes a difference. Whatever you start, make sure you finish, okay? It doesn't matter if you come in first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, or, you know. The explanation that I can say is when you run a marathon, you get the same medal as anyone else's, you know, with the exception of the top, you know, Kenyans that get the first prize, second prize. But all the other medals, they're the same. It doesn't matter if you're the last person or if you're the 10th person, you get the same medal. So once you start, finish. Don't give up. It's a marathon. That's what life's about. Don't give up. You're gonna question yourself at times, like, oh, maybe I should give up. You know, maybe I should go back. Don't. Stick with it and get it done. That's it.
Thank you very much for those parting words. So we're going to wrap up the session here. I'm going to stop the recording.